Welcome all, and thank you for joining us on our discussion about what networking looks like today and how Surfex supports the surface and coatings industry. My name is Michelle Michelucci, an event manager for Surfex Exhibition and Conference. I'm joined by Richard Gilkes. Richard, you are the Managing Director for Surfex and for Stork Chemicals. Can you run us through your different roles, please?
Yes, thank you, Michelle, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk. My day job is Managing Director of Stork Chemicals Limited. We're a 40-year-old family-owned specialty raw material distributor to the coatings and flavours and fragrance industries. We've been a staunch supporter of Surfex for over 30 years now. We've been exhibiting all that time. But about 6 years ago, I was given the opportunity to join the Surfex board, an opportunity which I took with both hands. And then 4 years ago, in fact, 2 years after I joined the board, I was invited to become the Managing Director of Surfex Limited. And I've been the MD now of Surfex for 4 years, encompassing the 2018 exhibition and also this exhibition in 2020.
So what was the motivation to accept the MD position?
Well, I was very pleased to have been invited to join the board originally because it gave me the opportunity to influence a little bit the direction of where Surfex was going. Surfex has been a very key part of Stork's development over the 30 years we've been involved, and we needed it to be as successful and as vibrant an exhibition as it possibly could be. There was a change in the board structure back 6 years ago, and some exhibitors were invited to join the board to help the OCCA council members who were also on the board at the time to make it a broader, more holistic church. And it was very useful and very good for me for 4 years. When I was offered the opportunity to stand as MD, it was a friend of mine who was the MD at the time. He invited me. It wasn't a tough decision to make, to be totally honest, and I haven't regretted it.
In your opinion, in the last 4 years as Managing Director, have you seen the event change and evolve? What's been the biggest changes for you?
Well, crikey, Michelle, if we go back even further than that, if we go back 30 years, it has evolved immensely. It's frightening to think it was 30 years ago and I attended my first Surfex, but it was, bizarrely. In those days, we were based out of Harrogate for many years. A lot of people remember that. Harrogate's a very different look and feel. It's a smaller, more intimate town. The exhibition centre was smaller and more intimate. And there were a large number of relatively small stands, but also a large number of raw material manufacturers used to exhibit in those days. Not just from the UK, particularly from outside the UK as well, from Europe, from Asia, from the Americas. But over the last 10 to 15 years in particular, it's become a much more distributor-led exhibition. Many of the larger raw material manufacturers allow their distributors now to have the stands, and they come actually and sit on our stand as opposed to the old days where we used to be on their stands. And that gives it a very different look and feel. It's much more UK-based because a lot of the distributors and exhibitors are UK-based exhibitors. And we have also moved to a new venue. One of the things that the board decided to do back in 2016 was to move the exhibition to the Ricoh Arena. We'd had a couple of exhibitions at the NEC in Birmingham prior to that. And to be totally honest, we were a little bit lost in the NEC, which is a huge cavernous exhibition centre. The move to Ricoh proved to be incredibly successful, and it is a much more appropriate venue for an exhibition like Surfex.
And what would you say Surfex brings to the industry?
Well, it brings many things. For Stork, it's been an incredibly valuable biennial opportunity to network with our peers and with our customers. We've built on our existing business relationships and we've forged many new ones. But it's not just about the exhibitors seeing the people that they want to see. We've tried to broaden the scope of Surfex over the last 2 or 3 editions to attract new generations into the industry. It's critically important for any industry, including the chemical industry, to have new young people coming in. And we've tied up now with universities through the Cutting Edge program to try to encourage students to come along to visit the exhibition and to talk to exhibitors and see what a career could be like in the chemical industry. And that has been very successful. We also instigated, with the help of Dr. Laura Merritt, who we'll talk about later, and who's also given a very good presentation to this Surfex Live situation. And the Surfex Bursary is proving to be a very successful way to try to encourage younger people to engage with us as an industry.
And what is the Surfex Bursary?
Surfex Bursary is an amount of money which is put to one side, which is generated by the Surfex exhibition, that is there available for students and also for other professionals within the chemical industry to further their development of new developments of product development or projects they're working on. And it's available. If you log onto the Surfex website, you can see how to apply for it. And we're very pleased that in some way we can put some of the money that Surfex generates back into the industry and encourage new people to come in and join.
So I take it the bursary is one of your achievements since you've been on the board.
Yes, we're very proud of the bursary. Laura and myself put a lot of work into creating it and putting it forward and putting the structure in place to allow it to happen. But it's not the only thing that I'm very proud of. The move to the RICO was a good decision by the board. That really did revitalise the atmosphere and the exhibition itself, giving more emphasis to developments, to product development through things like the tech focus and surfacing science innovations has been incredibly successful as well. Tech focus is more about exhibitors and principals showcasing some of the products that they want to show to the industry, new developments, new product developments that allow the exhibitors, the visitors to make their products better. The surfacing science is an opportunity for the trade associations associated with our industry, including OCA, to again address some of the wider issues facing our industry at the moment. And for example, we've had discussions on Brexit, on UK REACH, on biocides legislation, on CLP, all of which are issues which are in critical importance to most of the people visiting Surfex.
Mm. And in the current climate that we're in at the moment, Surfex has kind of evolved the delivery that it's now offering to the network. Can you tell us a little bit more about the live event and the Connect?
Yes, of course. It is a difficult situation at the moment. Nothing is ideal. So we have to adapt and we have to find ways to engage with our exhibitor and visitor community. And I think Surfex Live and Surfex Connect are very good ways to do this. We need to keep engaged and we need people to keep communicating with us and to communicate with people out there. Surfex Live, which will go live, of course, there's a clue in the name, next Tuesday and Wednesday, which are the 2 dates of the original Surfex exhibition, will feature several webinars, some from associations, some from suppliers, some from exhibitors, to again showcase some of the products which they think the people who would have been visiting Surfex next week would like to see to keep the ball rolling effectively until we all meet up again in October. Surfex Connect will be rolling all the way through between now and October, just again to keep connected, to keep involved, to keep people interested in what's going on. Hopefully this video will form part of Surfex Connect, for example, and I hope there'll be some interesting things that people take away from it.
And how can Surfex help support the industry during this particular time?
Well, a lot of it's about sharing knowledge at the end of the day. The Surfex is a vehicle for sharing knowledge, always has been, and we need to keep that successful. We need to do that in the interim period before we all meet up again in October. There are still problems out there to be solved in the industry. People are still working on coatings every day. They need solutions to their problems, and hopefully through the Surfex Live and through Surfex Connect, we can still keep in touch with these people, and they can find a way to come to us as problem solvers to solve their problems.
Now, that's a lot of information about Surfex and the great work that you've done and the industry. In terms of being an exhibitor, how would you say that you've benefited from being at Surfex?
That's a good question. Some of the benefits are tangible, but most of them are more intangible. As a company, we've always benefited from having a good presence at Surfex, mainly because we like to see our customers and we like to see our peers. It is also a fun event. It is a nice place to be for 2 days. People do enjoy it. There's a fantastic dinner always on the first evening, which is a great benefit for most people. But equally, we've found over the years as a distributor, because that's what we are, that our principals, our suppliers, do appreciate us investing money in their business in the UK. And equally, we've picked up some very interesting new suppliers who are visiting Surfex, looking for distributors in the UK. And by having a presence at Surfex, we've certainly picked up some very nice new principals. It's been one of the best things we do for 2 years. It's the only exhibition we invest money in every 2 years, and we would never think of doing anything different.
Do you have any success stories from exhibiting at Surfex, or any unique situations?
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, it's very difficult to make a tangible assessment of exactly how Surfex has benefited us commercially. Of course it is. I mean, we see a lot of these customers. We visit them anyway during the year, but it's great to see them all in one place. But from the point of view of suppliers, yes, we picked up a very significant piece of new business just by being at Surfex. A significant supplier of ours was visiting Surfex looking for a UK distributor. We made a short list of 3 because at that point we've always sort of hit above our weight. We've always had a bigger stand than we would normally have. They like the look of us as a business, and we won that business, and that has paid for the Surfex stands 10 times over.
I believe also you've broached into some imaginative ways on how to dress your stand. Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm sure a lot of people watching this video will remember the stand we had, I think it was 4 years ago, when we managed to secure some of the Doctor Who models. We had a TARDIS, a Dalek and K9 on our stand. We always try to do something a little bit different. I think the strap line for that was we're bigger on the inside, like the TARDIS is, because part of our aim over 2 days is to let people know that we may have products in our portfolio that they weren't aware of. And you have to find a way to attract people to come to talk to you. 2 years ago, we had some very interesting little moving Lego models on our stand as well, and people will probably remember the bullet train and the big windmill from Holland, because we tried to pick models that represented the nationality of the principles we represent, and it has proved very successful. We have some ideas for October, but I can't tell you them yet. They'll have to be a surprise. We'll have to wait and see. Watch this space.
So what are your objectives, your plans for the future?
Well, for Surfex 2020 is obviously the most important thing that's coming. We have to make it as successful and as innovative and as exciting exhibition as possible, and I'm sure we will. I'd like to leave a good legacy behind, because this is my last Surfex as MD. I promised my board of directors at Stord I'd only do 4 years as MD. I've had a fantastic 4-year stint, and I'm very pleased to say that I've found a successor, and she has accepted the role, and it's Dr. Laura Merritt, who I mentioned earlier. Laura's been involved with Surfex almost as long as I have. And she's also an OCA council member, so she has a lot of expertise covering both key bodies that support Surfex, and she'll do a fantastic job. I have been persuaded, my arm was twisted very high up my back, to stay on as a board member to support Laura and her board through the next 2, 3, 4 exhibitions, because we intend to be exhibiting as long as Surfex is around. That's certainly part of our core plan. From a more parochial point of view, and what my ambitions are for the future, I need to steer Stork Chemicals through what's happening at the moment. It's a tough time out there for everybody. We have to get through it, and then we've got the double whammy of Brexit and the potential UK reach around the corner. But I guess that's probably another interview and another half hour of discussion on those issues.
Is there a key message that you would like to leave, also bearing in mind that you're handing over your role of Managing Director of Surfex? Is there a key message you'd like to put out there?
Keep in touch. It's more difficult to keep in touch at the moment. Obviously, we can't physically meet at the moment. We'll all be together in October at the RICO, but at the moment it's difficult. So everyone should keep in touch as much as possible. We're doing our best to reach out to our customers and our suppliers. Surfex Live and Surfex Connect are 2 vehicles for that to happen. So log into the website, keep looking for what's happening, because things will be going on all the time over the next 2 to 3 months, and you won't want to miss out.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Richard. I'm looking forward to our next interview. I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few more topics that we can discuss.
Oh, there's many things to talk about, Michelle, but yes, that is for another day, I think.
Thank you for your time, and thank you everyone for watching and experiencing this great opportunity. As Richard said, please join the website and keep in touch about other things that are going on as well. So thank you, and keep safe.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michelle.